Put your hands together. She'll be joining us from Kenya. Thank you. Margaret,
thank you.
over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruaye, for those very kind words. I hope I'm audible. Abraham?
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really deeply honored and excited to be joining you all the way from Nairobi. Unfortunately, I'll not have time to enjoy my favorite fufu and pepper soup, or because of the monstrous pandemic, but we are grateful that we are able to assemble through this platform. So allow me to give my special remarks. And I want to start by acknowledging and appreciating the special senior assistant to Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, the Principal Secretary, and very, very importantly, our host, the Director General of Nigeria Biotechnology Development Agency, and also recognize the distinguished and eminent state heads, Director General of the National Biosafety Management Agency, Dr. Rufus Ebega, who we have worked with very closely, all the scientists present, vice chancellors, senior policy and decision makers present, friends, colleagues, all protocol observed. Good morning. It is an honor and deeply humbled to share some remarks in this very important sensitization workshop in Nigeria on animal biotechnology applications and regulatory perspectives. Allow me once again to express special thanks to Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, the Director General and the Chief Executive of NABDA, for gladly accepting to co-host this workshop together with our other partners, the AU Inter-African Bureau of Animal Resources, ourselves ISA, and with support from the United States Agricultural Agency, this is USDA, and also international partners who are joining us here today. It is indeed a momentous moment where Africa is joining up together to start early in an area where we have learned many lessons, the area of biotechnology and the crop biotechnology space, where we have been for the last 20 years. There are many lessons we have learned, and we feel that from the discussions that came about, mentioned earlier, from the 4th International Animal Biotechnology Conference that ran virtually last year from September all the way to December, it was very clear that the animal biotechnology space is expanding. Hello? 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 Is there a problem?
Go ahead. We are hearing you.
Okay, thank you. So I was just mentioning that this workshop is a direct follow-up to recommendations from the 4th International Animal Biotechnology Regulatory Perspectives that ran between September and December 2020, and it was co-hosted by ISA. And during this conference and earlier on, this has given us an opportunity to expand from our core focus of crop biotechnology over the last 2 decades. I'm sure you're very familiar with our flagship product, the global status of crop biotechnology, which we have published over the last 22 years or so. And so this is a new frontier for us, animal biotechnology. And we are glad to bring in some of the experiences we have learned over those 2 decades from crop, so that for Africa, we can start early in preparing ourselves. We have already started, but we have not been able to deliver as many products as we can. But it's also exciting that Nigeria is one of the countries in Africa that has made history by approving a food crop, the cowpea, BT cowpea, which has not been commercialized in any other country in the world. And so a big kudos to Nigeria. I know many scientists and regulators who are in this room worked very hard, and the communicators, including Rose Gidado there, the OFAB fraternity, to make this happen. And so we are excited that we are riding on a success, and I believe that even in the animal biotechnology sector, we are going to succeed. So during the fourth international conference, participants had a chance to connect and meet in depth as regional breakout groups, where the Africa group came up with the 3 key recommendations that make the larger part of our program today. Nigeria was very well represented during the breakout sessions, and very exciting discussions came up. But overall, we were able to synthesize 3 key recommendations. The first one is the need to secure sustained political goodwill for animal biotechnology at the highest continental governance level. And in this case, we are excited that the Africa Union Interagency Bureau of Animal Resources has already come on board, and this is a first natural step to initiate dialogue at that level and provide member states the opportunity to engage with relevant government agencies. Because without government, then our researches will continue being an academic exercise, and will continue being academic butterflies, where we run up and down and we are not delivering. And so we keep widening the gap between science and society. Number 2 was the importance of adopting a multi-agency approach in research prioritization and regulation of animal biotechnology. Hence, I'm excited to see the diversity of institutions represented in this workshop, from researchers, policymakers, communicators, farmers associations, industry players, and very, very importantly, the presence of Dr. Rufus Bega, the DG National Biosafety Management Agency. For indeed, without a functional biosafety system, even the best of innovations in biotechnology will not help our continent. Thirdly, was the need and value of developing a strategic communication strategy to ensure effective and timely engagement with stakeholders and value chain actors in animal biotechnology for informed choices on global and regional trends with this technology, so that our continent can become a leader, not a follower of others when it comes to animal biotechnology. So I am really excited that the room is full with all these brains and talents from Africa. We are also joined by our international partners who will be with us throughout the 3 days. And I believe that we'll come up with recommendations that will help national programs like the ones that we are already starting to learn about Nigeria. We'll be able to move very, very quickly. For indeed, in the wisdom of the African tradition, starting early shortens the journey. And so if we start early, putting our agencies together and working together instead of working in silos, we shall definitely be able to take the leadership that Africa so deserves and needs at this point, where food insecurity, the livestock sector, environmental degradation, and all other challenges are facing us. And without science, we have seen that we cannot make it. The pandemic has taught us that science will take the lead. We have already seen how fast the vaccines have been developed, and it's all enabled by the knowledge that has been gained over time at the molecular level of the cell that has helped scientists around the world to be able to deliver the vaccines. And I believe that Africa is not short of those talents, is not short of the competencies and the expertise that is required to deliver these innovative approaches to our food system, our environment, and indeed the livestock sector. So with these remarks, I would once again like to appreciate our partners, NABDA, the AU-IBA, the national programs present here, the government, the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, and importantly, all the participants that have found time to be able to join and share with us their different perspectives. I'm looking forward to a very productive 3 days, and we shall be with you all the way until the last day. So thank you very much.